Hello from Southern Ontario, Brantford, here in Canada, July 31st. So I've been wanting to get down. I've scouted out the locations of the homeless encampments here in Brantford, a city of 100,000, a little over more people. Now, Googling, I can't find anything about this. The city just doesn't seem to acknowledge it. I've talked to, 20 people. And they've all said, well, here, there, and the other place, the city displaces them. This is the common consensus. Well, I don't know where they are because they, quote unquote, keep chasing them off. Now, the homeless encampment problem in Canada is undeniable and unprecedented. If you bring in, as Trudeau has on average, 625,000 migrants a year and build 100,000 homes, well, the math is pretty simple there. Now, the 20-odd people-ish that I talked to didn't seem to have much sympathy, right? They're like, they chase them away. Well, okay. It's easy to look at the homeless and say, well, it's their fault, and there's drug abuse, which the government of Trudeau encourages, but that aside. Okay, there is that aspect and element, yes, and nobody's kind of counting the numbers on that as far as I can see, like how many of them, I don't want to sound like I'm slagging them, of the homeless are sort of creating their own problems, I'll say. But we see constantly on social media an individual who's working full-time, even making more than minimum wage, and has to buy a van or something to live in because they can't afford housing in Canada. So my point is, yes, we are going to and are having a homeless crisis in Canada. Nobody denies it. It's even discussed in Parliament, believe it or not. So here's my point. The city doesn't want to, and I'm not singling out Brantford in this case, no city wants to pay for the cost of saying, well, okay, we have these encampments, how do we deal with it? Do we set up, facilities, Johnny on the spots, outhouses, whatever, fresh water? Do we deal with it, or do we just send the cops in once in a while to kick them out and displace them? Well, they're homeless. For whatever reason, they're homeless. Think of that, pass your own judgment as you may. They are homeless. Kicking them out of Park A to move to Park B, to move to Park C, to move back to Park A, isn't doing anybody any good. It's not doing the homeless any good. It's not doing the people who live around Park A, B, and C any good. The garbage gets left behind, they move to another park. The garbage gets left behind, they move to another park. It's dumped on the city and their police, the cost to go and do this. It's an endless cycle. It's not going to improve anything. And every day, there's more and more homeless people in Canada. We need to be dealing with this. It's a federal problem. It's federally caused. It's a federal issue. The city should deal with it. The city, any city should deal with it. Send the bill to the federal government. Send it to Trudeau. Because you send it to the federal government, well, hey, that's just our tax money anyways, isn't it? Yeah. Welcome to the new normal in Canada. Thank you, Justin.